flatterer. Why, if I had a warm heart, I'm sure it would be skipping.
Hi, it's Oddball1975 and welcome to Nypsy Does Honor Mode Part 4. If you've missed the other parts, you've only actually missed one day. I did a lot in my one day, as you can see. I had a visitor in camp, and then of course my very best boy, Scratch, turns up first thing in the morning. So I have all the real companions that I want already, and yeah, so I've got Karlach now, I've got Scratch, and now I'm going to be mostly running around with Shadowheart, Karlach and Lae'zel. I haven't fully decided what I'm going to do in terms of romance. I think probably Lae'zel this playthrough. Now, Will's unfortunately not going to get used at all. Gale is going to be basically a potion bitch, which if you don't know, you make him a transmutation wizard, and if he passes a medicine roll, he actually manages to double up on the potions that he creates. So you do get him to do all the alchemy stuff. It's really simple. You just, get him to do all the alchemy, and hopefully you get double bubble on some of those potions. He doesn't often pass the checks, but give him guidance, give him a chance, and any he does get is a bonus. Now, one thing that happens when you take a long rest in Baldur's Gate 3 is it resets all of the traders. So, that's when you go around in the morning and you basically go back to them and you sell everything that you don't need. I sell a lot of potions and poisons that I don't use. I sell a lot. I will loot stuff that's only worth a gold. I'm terrible for, absolutely looting up. And, I'm going to make Karlach a thrower, so she's going to get a lot of the throwing items. And I am going to sell everything that I can in order of that pursuit of money. Then what I'm going to do is spam certain traders to buy the potions that I want from them. Now, this means that I'm not going to go near the hag area for a while, because I want to keep the hag in the grove producing 3 elixir of giant strength every day, because I'm going to buy 3 every day to stock up. So when I do eventually move forward and lose her as a trader, I've got a decent amount in reserve, because I'm going to be using probably 1 to 2 of those potions every day, just to make certain characters hit harder, and it is very, very useful to do that. In terms of what I'm planning to do long term is Karlach's going to be a thrower. Lae'zel's going to use all the extra little damage items, so she's going to do a lot of little bits of damage. Karlach's going to do big hitty damage. I think I'm going to make Lae'zel a polearm master. She's going to have reach and trip people up. I'm going to use Nypsy to be a dual crossbow spamming spells, and Shadowheart is going to be tooled up as a life cleric with masses of extra utility. And basically when she heals people, they're going to get bless and blade ward and things like that. One thing I forgot to do on my first day was come up here, which is, it's a bit of an odd spot. It's actually, you can climb up from the beach when you first come down and avoid the intellect devourers and come up here, but I don't tend to do that. I tend to double back and pick this up. It's just a chest that's up here, gives you a bit of extra XP. See, you can come up from the beach and actually avoid the intellect devourers and go get Gale before you have to face them. But it's worth XP coming up here. You get Explorer XP, and there's a chest up here, which, it's a chest. It is what it is. Now, the plan today is to get with us and do my one respec that I plan to do, which is to make Shadowheart a life cleric. I do not like the Trickery Domain cleric. If you've ever watched Critical Role Campaign 2, I think Jester is the perfect Trickery Domain cleric. And apart from one spectacular moment, it's got to be said, the amount of healing she does throughout the campaign is not impressive. Whereas my Shadowheart is going to be all about just healing and putting out radiant damage to cause people to have problems hitting me. This is going to be a build that's going to take me a little while to do, but not that long. We're going to sort of speed rush her build, not worry about the other builds too much, because they'll grow over time. But Shadowheart's, once that's functioning, it makes a huge impact on your party's survivability. One thing to keep an eye out for is every time you pick up or change weapons, it will turn dual wielding on as default, which is a really, really annoying pain in the butt. It drives me nuts, because I want to basically split my actions to, if I want to cast a spell, I still want my, I might want my bonus action spell, so shoot one crossbow, use my bonus action spell, or I might cast a spell and then use my other hand to, shoot a crossbow. So either cast a spell, shoot a crossbow, or shoot a crossbow and cast a spell. It's going to be quite common what I do. So I thought I was pretty safe hidden where I'm hidden, but apparently not. Apparently I get knocked over and then hit with acid. So yeah, not a good hiding spot as it turned out. And I didn't engage the other characters, which was a bit dumb of me, so I should have done. And yeah, all in all, this is just clearing these two out to get into the below. But yeah, these guys are a bit more annoying than they normally are. Normally they get confused if I hide behind here, but seemingly I messed up and they could actually see me this time. Now let me know in the comments down below if you want me to focus on anything in particular when I do these videos, or if you want me to detail any of the puzzles, because what I'm probably going to do is cut short a lot of the puzzles and concentrate on the combat situations. I will give some general tips and advice, but I'm one of those people, I play Baldur's Gate like it was the tabletop version. So I don't do a lot of throwing potions onto people. I don't do a lot of positional work where you crack a potion between three people so it affects all three of them. I basically play Baldur's Gate with a mindset of what my DM would let me get away with on a live session, rather than what the video game allows me to get away with. Because to be fair, what the video game allows you to get away with, you can really cheese this game with some stuff. So yeah, I'm not going to be doing a lot of stuff where I'm building up stacks of boxes to get the high ground, or putting explosive barrels around people, or cracking a potion between three. I'm going to play it fairly honest, like I would play a session of D&D. So yeah, this playthrough is not going to be for everyone, because it's going to be, as if I was playing the tabletop version, and that, well, we'll have to see. Some people might like it, some people might not. But I think if you're going to do the cheesy methods, it's it becomes a little bit spammy at times, some of the stuff you can do in this game, and my ability to kill things as this party is not the best. But luckily I have Karlach on board, who does a very good job of throwing things at people and killing them. She will very shortly output a huge amount of damage throwing stuff at people. It's a very strong build, but it's not broken like some of the other builds you can do, and to be fair, it's just making use of very synergistic magic items to your benefit. I'm also going to do some odd things for her later. I've got an idea that I haven't done yet and I'm going to experiment with, but we'll see. It might work, it might not work, but I'm planning to bake both Lizelle and Karlach get some advantages from lightning damage. I do feel sorry for this guy because he's so easily tricked. But yeah, after day 1, day 2, get withers, respec Shadowheart, and then I'm free to do what I want. I'm kind of not looking to do too many fights in a day, and I do want to rest fairly regularly. I know the first day was a bit long, but that's because I want to cheese that XP as quick as possible in a lot of ways. But ultimately, there's not a great advantage to, you don't need to rush and go mad, because long resting is actually quite beneficial in this game. It moves the story along and it allows you to unlock a lot of things, so that's usually a good thing. This poor guy, a surprise round is so devastating. There will be times I do try and take advantage and get surprise rounds on people, because it is very, very helpful. I totally messed up this fight. Well, I didn't. I got messed up by the initiative order, to be honest. The door got blocked my end, and that makes it awkward. Just very, very awkward with how far down the order Karlach was. But hey-ho, she can take it. She gets an absolute kicking, and yeah, it is what it is. It's a pain in the butt. when it does this, but sometimes when you do get into this situation, the game just messes with you and you end up with someone stuck in the doorway for too long. I shouldn't have positioned her in the doorway until, I should have left the doorway open and got the initiative order out before I made my adjustments. Because I've got to say, Lizelle is a much better melee fighter than she is ranged fighter. So I wouldn't be doing that sort of stuff if the door had been open. As to Shadowheart, well, doesn't make any difference to Shadowheart, because Shadowheart most of the time is just going to be doing that and getting out of the way again. And yeah, I messed up. I blocked the door, which makes this a more difficult and drawn out fight than it needed to be. Between the doorway getting shut by a spell that they cast in, Karlach slipping over on some ice, it becomes a drawn out fight, and it's one of them you just have to muddle your way through. I'm not in any serious danger of losing my honor mode against these guys, but it's it can be a relatively annoying fight. They do have some decent damage dealers in amongst them, and I always like it when you're up against a party of humanoid creatures that have skills and abilities and class features, because it's cool. It's like it's fair because you have and they have. They've got ensnaring strike as much as you have, so they can do frustrating things and frustrate your plans, which I'm perfectly fine with. It's just weird how the ice knife closes the door. And I'm like, oh, which now has prevented Karlach bursting in and started carving people up. So Karlach's turn is now totally wasted, really. So I can move her to the switch, which then gives them a free round of shooting against me, which I'm not going to do. So I'm just going to hit the door, let Karlach continue to take the brunt of the damage, which is what she's good at. Barbarians are basically angry, mentally ill people that can take a lot of hits. There's a D&D Shorts clip I'm thinking of when it comes to that, and they don't wear the most armor. They haven't got the best armor class, but my god, can they tank some damage when they're raging. The damage resistance and the amount of hit points they have just means that they get targeted a lot more than you do, and they get smacked about a lot more than you do, and you ride that through the campaign as using them as a meat shield. In our current campaign, my friend Woody is playing as a barbarian, and he's playing as the Zealot Barbarian, which is hilarious because if he dies I can bring him back without having to waste spell components. I did toy with using a big bomb here to finish this quickly, and I was like, no, they're too expensive for this fight. Let's just add a bit of fire to the situation. I was thinking about running in, but I was like, I might slip on the ice and waste my turn, so let me just throw an axe, then go up and engage him, and then if I slip I haven't wasted the actions. One of the things for D&D to keep in mind is action economy. You always want to make sure you make the most of your actions and limit your opponent's actions, or at least that's the plan. Unfortunately that hasn't worked out for me this fight because of the door situation. I have not really got very far out of some of my actions, but Karlach has done a sterling job of taking a lot of the damage, and Nypsy's taken an awful lot of damage from their archers, so I really do need to sort of plough through now and start doing some damage. But for that I need Karlach to be in a position to do the damage and clear the way. So at this moment I'm going to put some healing around, and as you can see, you get blessed when you get healed, which is ideal on the barbarian because your barbarian hasn't got the greatest to hit. I don't think I've fed her a potion before this day, so she's only on her base strength. Normally, quite often she'll be operating with giant strength engaged, which really does make a difference to her. Blessed and giant strength engaged, she will hit virtually all the time. I'm also being not being very wasteful with spells in this fight. I'm saving them up, and I've got to say, Nypsy gets absolutely trolled by their archers, but then they have got 3 of them sitting back there and I'm not able to engage them, so they've been free to pummel me. This is the turn though where finally we're going to break through and start doing some real damage. Just lacerate, kill, and try and get past. And as you can see, once the barbarian goes down, none of the others are melee characters, so we'll pretty much have the run of the doorway then and be able to push in. But yeah, you should never do fire bolt with Shadowheart because it's based on her intelligence, which is almost non-existent. It's quite funny how she's everyone's most popular romance figure, and she's like hasn't got the most intelligence or the highest charisma, but she seems to be the overwhelming favourite for a romance, which is funny. You can't make her a bard, obviously, when that gives her all massive charisma, but you know, as a base class, she's not the most charismatic character in the game. I mean, it makes me laugh the amount of damage that Karlach does with throws when she hits. Unfortunately, she didn't hit there, but you know, now Lae'zel's free. She's also got a great weapon at the moment on the go, so she'll make short work of these guys and do some serious damage. And yeah, all in all, the fight could have gone better because I wasted a lot of rounds being stuck behind the door, but it could have gone better, but it could have gone worse. And yeah, I just keep Nypsy tipping over and getting back up again. Now he's got more fish to fry with all these barbarians and fighters in his face. And that's the end of this fight. Now I go and loot the entire library because every book's worth a decent amount of money. So I'm going to cut through the looting. I even looted the stuff that's worth 1 gold piece, so trust me, that's going to be a lot of looting you didn't want to watch. And once we were laden up, I did the trap room, guidance, and you know, is enough to I guide the best spotter and the best person for traps, and I just went through the trap room and got the spear. I then come in here, take the weapons off the scribes, and in time to prepare the fight against the scribes, which is, once you've taken their weapons away, if you've taken everything away from them, basically, it's the easiest fight. Yeah, so I'm just setting up that fight. The amount of looting I did, as you can see, but the amount of encumberment, it was ridiculous. I can get like Lae'zel and Lae'zel and Karlach to carry most of the weight, but I tend to loot with Nypsy, which is dumb. I should loot with Karlach and then sort the weight out. One thing I would say is switch your weapons at this point to bludgeoning weapons, because the undead you're about to face take more damage from bludgeoning than they do from slashing or piercing. So it's always good to have a bludgeoning option. You know, even if you're not very good with it, even if you hit like strength 8 wuss with it, it's actually quite handy to equip it. Though, yeah, I messed up because I actually didn't want to equip that. I need to. She's not really worried because she's going to be shooting and casting spells. So long as the fighters have got stuff that does, you know, bludgeoning damage, that's the main thing. Because Shadowheart's going to be basically doing radiant damage all the time. And like I say, Nypsy is going to mostly be shooting things with crossbows anyway. Not looking to get her in melee combat that often throughout this playthrough. If Booming Blade was in the actual spell set for the game, I'd be a rapier booming blading and misty stepping away, leaving them frustrated, charged up with booming blade and having to pursue me. That's what I've been doing in my regular D&D game. Unfortunately, booming blade is in one of the mods, which is great. This is such a good spell for bards for increasing their damage, because if you're playing as a lore bard, you only ever get one attack. If you play as a swords bard or a bard of valor, which are available in this game, they're much better in melee. But I'm playing the spellcaster version, which is a lore bard, skill junkie and spellcaster version, and also team player version, because I get more reaction. I can use cutting words to help anyone get out of being hit. This also gives me the skills to be able to do pretty much anything in the game, pass all the skill checks you need to unlock stuff. I think probably one of the most fun characters to play in terms of roleplay in this game is to play as a bard, because you get so many unique dialogue options, and like I say, you're set up and in position to be able to talk your way through most situations, and either sort of puzzles. You'll have some unique dialogue on. There's a lot of options for things. It's just in general, I think someone said that Drow has got the most unique dialogue. Gnome's got a fair amount of dialogue options, but yeah, someone's saying, you know, as terms of roleplay, Bard's a really good character just for having so many unique lines of its own. But equally, Paladin's just as good. Paladin, I think, is probably one of the most popular classes because it's real kick-ass, and people do like to do a lot of damage. Whereas I'm never that worried about doing damage when I play in D&D. My characters are, you know, for D&D tend to be support-based characters mainly. I like that being able to assist and help my party. Like my Wednesday night character has Bless, Aid, and spells like that. And unfortunately not Longstrider. I would take Longstrider if it lasted more than an hour, but in the D&D roleplay version it lasts an hour. But I got spells like Freedom of Movement, things like that. Help people out, stop them getting pinned down or affected by enemy spells. And also use Counter Charm to bolster saving throws and things like that. But as you can see, these bludgeoning weapons make short work of these poor guys. There's not a lot they can do. I do like that weapon on Shadowheart. Being able to ensnare my opponents is very useful for her. I think it's a much underrated staff, that one. The Entangle is just so useful, and whenever you do that to a enemy character, it's great. You know, works wonderfully well. Here, just, you know, back away a bit, keep shooting, whittling him down. You know, there's no rush. He's not gonna do anything, and like I say, the bludgeoning weapons make short work of these guys, and it's not really a fight against 4 unarmed skeletons, but you know, it's one of the fights, so I'm bringing it to you as much as the fight as it happened. There are some fights I might cut out as we go through, but at this early stage, I'll see. I plan to. I don't know why. Oh yeah, I rage because I'm going to be resting soon anyway. Like I say, you want to. It sounds weird, but you actually want to long rest pretty frequently because it just moves the story along and progresses especially the side characters, dialogue options and things like that. And it refreshes the traders and allows me to spam even more potions of giant strength, which, you know, I really want to spam through the potions of giant strength as much as possible. I should have probably looked at jumping there. She might have actually made it on a jump. I don't know why she did that, but you know, he's pretty out of it at this point. Nypsy's still taking tons of damage from him though, and yeah, I haven't got the spells yet, which I need because once I've got up a few levels, I'll have a few more cantrips and more damaging cantrips. The idea is to take levels in Wizard or Sorcerer to like flesh out my spells, and by the end be 10 Bard, 2 Wizard. So I've got some Wizard's cantrips and useful utility spells to help out. And obviously, because you're a Bard and a full spellcaster the whole way through, you get, you know, much more spell slots that way. If you're a caster, it's kind of, you always lose spell slots when you change. Now, got Withers. That's what we want to do. And one of the things I would say is a bit of a tip is always loot his sarcophagus after he's got up, because there's a soul coin in it. The amount of people I see that like don't grab that because that's when they finish. And yeah, as you can see, I'm loaded up with absolute tons of loot. So I go back up the alternate way up the hatch, dig out the last bits of treasure from the chest, and then do a loop round. I do go back and unlock the door to the beach, just because I like to unlock the door to the beach, and then it's back to camp to do my one bit of cheesy respecking. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the fact you can keep respecking your character. It kind of, in D&D, you can't really do that unless you beg the DM. But I would say that the life cleric choice is a no-brainer, and it makes her much more useful. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. I'll say that's all. Thanks for watching. Join me in the next one.